Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Tim the Hulk Brzakala here, along with a couple of fantastic people. I've got Cody Newberry and Kaleb Koho here with me to talk about arguably one of the greatest Disney franchises ever. So, right, Cody, favorite Disney franchise ever?
I need you to move this along.
All right. So
this is offending me.
Yeah, so basically what we're doing is we're going to be talking about The Lion King, The Lion King 2, and The Lion King 1.5 in preparation for the new 2019 Lion King movie coming out this week. And we just want this show to kind of feel like, we're sitting around having a conversation with you guys. We're buddies sitting on a couch watching a movie. That's kind of the gist we're going for here. So with that... The Lion King 1. Did you guys watch it before
I did. I did.
Cody?
Watching what?
Did you watch The Lion King?
The original?
Yeah, like this week. Did you watch it?
It's etched in my brain. It actually plays when I daydream, so I don't need to ever pop in a digital copy or a DVD ever again because it's always there. It's always there.
This movie's like weird in the sense that like it wasn't one that was on in my household a lot because I grew up with 3 older sisters. So the ones that we watched a lot were The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, stuff like that. And for some reason, like I never owned The Lion King until I was an adult, which is weird. Like I saw it as a kid, but we never owned it. And it wasn't until it came out on Blu-ray, like Diamond Edition or something like 6 years ago that I actually owned it. But I saw it in the theater when they re-released it in 3D. Like I think that was around the same time, like 5 or so years ago. Did you see it in the theater, Cody?
Yeah. So I saw this movie for the first time in theaters, and then I saw it a total of 7 times in the theater because while my grandparents wanted to see other things, I kept screaming about the dang lion. So we saw The Lion King 7 times. Yeah. And that Diamond Edition, I once bought that in a grocery store because I was checking out and I said, oh, well, gotta have this. Well, my girlfriend at the time said, you have 2 copies at home. Yep, but this is called the Diamond Edition, so that's not the same edition as all the others. So I had to buy it. And then it re-released again this past year. And I bought it
that's
again.
The one that I currently own. Yeah, the 4K signature edition version, and then last year I bought the signature edition that wasn't 4K. So yeah, I've bought my fair share of copies. When did you first see it, Go?
Funny enough, I don't remember the first time seeing it or consciously remember seeing it. I just remember it always being a thing. Like
sure.
So the movie was like 6 years old by the time I was born. So like it just kind of always existed in my like house and like conscious. So yeah, I rewatched it in preparation for this, and it went way up on my movie list like again because it's great. It is great.
On what movie list? What are you talking about?
Like just on my top 100. It made it onto my top 100, and it went up to number 2 on my movies list.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hang on a second. Did you just say that it wasn't on your top 100 and now it's your number 2 favorite movie of all time?
No, number 2 on Disney Animation. On my Disney Animation.
Oh, I thought you said that it went to number 2. It was like 176 and then it jumped up to number 2.
It went from like off the top 100 to like number 53 or 52. So it's on the 100. But yeah.
I mean, yikes. That's going to be a big yikes for me, dog. But having recently watched it, in 4K, me and Maggie actually watched the entire epic saga of The Lion King last week in one day. We slept through one of them. I can't wait for you to guess which one it is. But
I guarantee I know which one.
But it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, I've never not like thought of this as like a good movie. Like it's just great. It's just great from beginning to end. Like, what are some of your favorite parts?
So peek behind the curtain, everybody. This is my favorite movie of all time. I battled with it a long time because it's always like, that's a kid's movie. Why would it be your favorite? But just if I could pick one movie to play for the rest of the time, it'd probably be this one. I think my favorite part about this movie is how quick it can draw emotion out of you without knowing stuff. I will fight tooth and nail that this is the best villain in Disney history, like bar none. Like everybody does malicious things. Everybody does mean things. This kills his dad and then convinces them that it's his fault and makes him leave and then takes over the kingdom he is supposed to rule. I think the music in this is also probably best Disney's done. I mean, I think there are better like one-off songs. Like I think like Beauty and the Beast as itself is better than probably things in The Lion King. And I think maybe like A Whole New World has those parts, but like as a collection that builds the story, that's by far. Again, I can talk about this for years, but
sure. Something actually that I wanted to touch on that you brought up. Well, actually, I'll save it. Koho, what do you think about the music in this movie?
It's amazing. The thing is, I always like heard "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" and was just kind of like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. But it is last time. It really grew on me. I like that song a lot more now than I did before, or at least that I remember. But I think this is probably, like Cody said, pound for pound, the best Disney collective soundtrack. Where if you put all those songs together, it's probably the best collection of songs within any of the movies. Maybe Aladdin edges it out still barely, but like it's up there. So. Something
that me and Maggie were talking about, and I don't know if she shared this opinion with me. I might have just been like talking out of my ass, but I've always thought that like the music in this movie was good, but I've never thought it was like incredible or anything, but like it's good music. The funny thing about it is I feel like you hit a certain after Hakuna Matata, or like you get Can You Feel the Love Tonight, but after that really there's like not really any music for the rest of the movie.
And there's 20 more minutes left of the movie.
Well, I get that, but I mean, like, and Maggie was like, "It's because the lions have to fight," and I'm just like, "Yeah, I get it," but like,
it's just. Can we talk about that score when they're battling at the end? They don't need a song. And
yeah, that's true.
Do you want me to dress and drag and do the hula? Is technically a song.
I guess you're not wrong. It's technically a song, but yeah,
some bacon.
The Hans Zimmer score is like real good.
Oh yeah.
Like arguably, like I think the score of the movie might be better than the like songs.
I agree.
Yeah, because I think with this new one releasing, I think what I saw somebody tweet out that this is going to be the first time that the composer wins for the same exact award for the same exact property, because he's wrote new stuff for it, and I think that's very interesting. But yeah, that score is amazing. The side characters are amazing in this movie. The color palette in this movie is insane.
Yeah.
For 94, this is 94. This isn't like this past decade. This is 94, and those colors pop off that screen better than most movies today. Like, it's
you get like the just can't wait to be king. You got all the colors and the craziness, but then you also get like in Be Prepared. There's like the bright greens and stuff, and matching with like the red of Scar. It's like you're not wrong. The color is definitely like really, really impressive for a movie that's this old. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else we could really. The movie's a classic. I mean, like, is it, Cody? You've already said it's your favorite it's your favorite movie. Period.
Yeah. No.
I've always liked Beauty and the Beast more, and I think that just goes back to like, again, that's the one that we saw that's the one I had at home. Koho, what you said this jumped up to number 2 on your Disney list?
Number 2, behind Aladdin, which also jumped up since Chicago when I said Beauty and the Beast was my favorite. So it's all kind of shuffled around. But yeah, no. My favorite part of this movie, the moment that in this movie made me go, "This is my number two," is actually "I Just Can't Wait to Be King," because I am a huge musical slut. I'm a musical slut. I literally sell out for every musical ever.
All right.
And
Heard it here first.
my favorite thing within a musical is the "I Want" song, and "I Just Can't Wait to Be King" is the most unconventional "I Want" song. It meets all the criteria of I'm singing about what I want, but what I want, what I want is not what I get. Is sort of the thing, because usually it's I sing about what I want and then I get what I want later. This is I sing about what I want, I get what I want, just not the way I want it.
I was about to say, he literally, the movie's called The Lion King.
Yeah, but
he literally becomes king.
But he doesn't get it the way that he wants it to. He's not like the king because his dad grew old and he got all the time with his dad. The worst possible thing happens to him, and then he becomes the king.
Yeah, he wants to be king to be able to rule, but then he's forced upon the duties because of what happened. So
this sounds like a really familiar live-action film that recently came out in the last couple of years that was released by Marvel. But anyway, that's fine. We can talk. Cody's like, I see what you did there.
Hey, Koho, did you? I don't think this song made it on a certain list. That's interesting that you just said that.
Which list? Sorry.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah.
I also think that Cody, you touched on it earlier that this is one of the, if not the best Disney villain. What happened to these intense Disney endings like Scar and Simba fighting on top of Pride Rock? I feel like we just don't see that anymore in these Disney movies. Am I wrong or
I honestly think it was a risk for what they did but honestly, if you saw it before, Beauty and the Beast, Gaston stabs Beast and then falls to his death.
Yeah. Even as late as Tarzan, don't they murder that guy and all the monkeys murder him at the end? The cheetah eats him.
Yeah. But I think that's one of those parts. The ending of the movie of Lion King is insane to me because one, it's an easy rewatch, so I pop it in all the time. But for it's when he backs Simba down onto the thing while everything's firing and burning, and he's like, oh, I remember, and he plays back the memory and gets close to his ear and whispers that he killed Mufasa, and then the classic fire battle, which is fire shooting around, they're smacking each other, and then when he falls down Pride Rock and he sits there and goes, my friends, but the hyenas heard what he said and they eat him. They eat him in this movie. There's no sugarcoating. The man is eaten by hyenas that haven't been fed in months. So it's you don't have this brutal, but that scene after the stampede goes through and he talks to Simba is oh, you should have done this, and then kill him. That's insane as a child. How I gravitated to this movie when I was came out in '94. I was 3. That's insane because I should have ran out of the theater
screaming. Yeah, exactly.
But it's got the comedic elements mixed with it. Plus, I also think one of the most underrated songs in this entire movie is "Be Prepared." I think it's grown with people with ages, but when you first think of Lion King,
you don't think
it's probably the last one that's mentioned, and it's insane.
It's good, yeah. Well, and so I didn't know this until actually this week. A friend of mine at work told me this, that I forget what the line is during the song, but there's a part towards the end of the song where Scar just screams something really loudly. And apparently, while recording, Jeremy Irons
that sings the last line.
Yeah, because he threw out his voice screaming. So Jim Cummings came in to sing the last chorus. That's fucking nuts. That's crazy. That's just a cool little tidbit.
It's the murky, the mercy of skies or whatever, the murky skies, and then King undisputed, respected, and then that last line, that is him. It's Jim Cummings. It's insane to me. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with the new one coming out, that they did not get Jeremy Irons, which I'll talk about when we get to the original, because I may have been a little, my tune might have changed just a tiny bit. But still, Jeremy Irons is so underrated as his voice acting as Scar. I think that I think it's 3 great voice actors pretty much in a row for Disney. Is pretty much whoever. Again, I don't know him, but Gaston, amazing. Scar, and then Jafar. Those three are just crucial to those roles. So yeah,
absolutely. And just getting, and like, again, the ending of the movie too, of just like after the fight's all done and the hyenas eat him, and just the shot of him walking up the rock in the rain and the music pumps in. It is just like, oh man, it's on fire. Cody's getting excited. Hey, Aham, how do you feel about the ending?
It's so good. The ending of this movie is so good. But yeah, I don't know what more I can actually really talk about with The Lion King, because like everything I say, I'm just in an echo chamber.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But it's great. It's a great movie. I love everything about it.
It's so short too. It's beautiful and short. It's
like 82 minutes. So
it's a brisk 90-minute movie. It's so fun to watch and easy. Why are all these live-action remakes like bloated to be 2 hours? I don't need it. Just do the 90-minute version of the movie that I love, because I'm more willing to watch a 90-minute movie than a 2.5-hour one.
I liked the stuff that they added in Beauty and the Beast. I thought that was interesting.
Don't get me wrong, I did too. And I kind of like some of the aspects of Aladdin that they added, but that's it.
And this movie too is like, if we look at it, I think the movie's 90 minutes. You take away the credits, it's about probably 80 minutes. It's an hour and 20. And this movie that's coming out is an hour 55. Take away the credits, it's an hour 45. So they added 20 minutes of stuff here, give or take a few minutes. Who knows what it is? We'll find out this weekend. I'm actually seeing the movie tomorrow, so hopefully I can report some good things. Sorry about that. So hopefully I can report some good things to you guys. But the last thing I want to touch on with this movie, because I would feel remiss not to mention it, is that Nathan Lane as Timon is a godsend. Can we all agree that is brilliant? I just love the, like, what does he say when they find Simba laying there? And he's like, "Hey, what if he was on our side?" Like, just the way that he says it is just like so good.
Nathan Lane is one of the all-time funniest human beings, and I love him.
That's one of my favorite. Special features that have ever been in a movie, and it's Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane sitting around the table talking about Lion King, and like Nathan Lane goes, "Yeah, I remember when Matthew Broderick walked in. He didn't even say hi to me. He didn't even wave at me, and then we had to sit across from each other in the recording booth, and then he had to say hi to me. Yeah, Matthew Broderick, too big from Ferris Bueller's." Like, he just kept going on it, and then that line of, "What do you want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula?" It was completely improv from Nathan.
Oh, sure.
He walked in, and they had a line written down. He goes, they didn't have anything written, but they're like, "Nathan, we need you to say something here to fill the gap." And he goes, "Oh, what do you want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula?" And they're like, "Put it in.
Go picture.
Yeah. So like, that is one of my favorite special features ever. Just Nathan Lane, just improving one of my favorite lines in that movie. But Nathan Lane, like, the entire character is just like, "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" is elevated because he's like literally saying that his pal that he's helped raise is now gone because he's getting married, and like he's like an angry Jewish guy, and I love every bit of it.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite part of the movie. I mean, like, everybody's favorite part of the movie is Timon and Pumbaa. I feel like most people, like, when you think about The Lion King, like, there's Hakuna Matata is like one of the first things that comes up. And I don't know.
That's fair.
What'd you say?
Well, it shouldn't, because that movie song is super overrated for me. I think it's the most played. I think it's the most played from that movie, and I think that's one of my issues with it, because like everybody's like, "This song's funny," but it, like, in the context of the scene, Hakuna Matata works really well. But on listen back, there's literally an instrumental break that you can't avoid because.
But it's gorgeous when they're walking across the thing. I don't care if I like have to. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, okay, let's move on.
Have a good night, guys. Have a good night.
Oh no, you're not going anywhere. Koho, I know you watched this movie in preparation, and so did I. And I have things to say, and I think Cody has things to say as well. We're going to talk next about The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, which was a straight-to-DVD VHS movie in 1998. Thank you. And the entire original cast returned.
That's a miracle.
Yep, brand new songs. And here's what I'll say. I'll start this off. As a kid, Cody, you're going to be upset. Earlier, I said that we never owned The Lion King on VHS. Guess what I did own on VHS? It was The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. We for sure had that shit on VHS.
You weren't loved.
So, as a kid, no, I guess not. So as a kid, I saw this movie a bunch, and then from like the early 2000s to like 2 weeks ago, I had never seen it. So it was an interesting rewatch. I don't think it's a good movie. That being said, I had a lot of nostalgia for it, and I think the only people that do like this movie are the people like me who do have some nostalgia for it. And so I can totally understand why nobody would like this movie, but I semi-enjoyed it. I confirmed, Cody, there was no incest in the film, but we can talk about that when you get to it. Koho, you watched it. What did you think?
So there's some really cool ideas of where you could go with a sequel within the movie.
Was this the first time you saw it?
No, this is
Okay.
I saw it a lot as a kid too.
Okay.
So this was my first time revisiting it since childhood.
Okay.
I like the idea of doing Romeo and Juliet with the Lion King characters, but I think my biggest issue, one of my only like grievances with the first Lion King is Matthew Broderick. I don't like Matthew Broderick as the voice of adult Simba. I have never been able to get behind it. So an entire movie of him as adult Simba was kind of rough. So it kind of made me go, okay, let's get through it. Let's get through the Simba parts, please. Move past the Simba parts. But I like the dynamic between the two kids.
I was about to say Simba's. I mean, the movie's called Simba's Pride, but he's not in the movie a lot.
Not really. So whenever he's in it, I'm like, move on. I want to get back to the kids because the dynamic between the two kids is probably the best part of the movie.
I would agree.
That's not saying a whole lot because the movie itself feels very half baked, and like they had a nugget of an idea. And instead of fleshing out that idea to a full, like, airtight story, they were like, just take what you have and go.
See, I don't know if I would agree with that because the movie is the same runtime as the first one. If it might be 5-ish minutes shorter, but I mean, the first movie is that one thing. It's what is it? Hamlet? Is it Hamlet? Right?
Yeah, the first movie was Hamlet, and this
is Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if I would say that it's not a full fleshed out idea. They're just copying Romeo and Juliet.
Sure, but the thing is, like, I enjoy the idea of like the hyenas. What have the hyenas been up to? And that was a really cool idea. They don't really delve into that too much. Like that's his whole character backstory. But whenever they show up, that's really interesting. And instead of getting more about that, we spend more time with Simba and catching up with what the Pride's doing. And I get they kind of have to do that with a sequel, but I also don't care about Simba anymore. His story's done. I don't care what he's doing.
Yeah, I guess. I do. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm completely defending this movie because I don't think it's that great, but I think there's some fun stuff about it. I actually really like the idea of like, you know, Simba got back and he saved the day and then he said like fuck you to all the lions that were actually like on Scar's side, and he has to basically learn another lesson of like, no, just because they were on that side, you've actually probably turned them into something that's like worse than what they actually could have been. I think that's an interesting idea. Not that it necessarily is fleshed out fully.
I like the idea. I just don't think it was executed as well as it could have been. And that's also, again, me just not liking Matthew Broderick as the voice of Simba. That's I think anyone else in that role, maybe a better voice actor would have been made that role better. But I just didn't care for Matthew Broderick as Simba, so that took away from that aspect for me.
What do you think about the music in this movie?
It's hard to like listen to this music and not sit there and compare it to the original because I really love the original music, and then this like music. It's unfair of me to do that, but I didn't love it as much as I love the original but again, it's like it's an unfair comparison. It's comparing a kindergartner's crayon drawing to the Mona Lisa.
Okay.
But like I like the song "He Lives in You." It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's good.
It's a good song.
It doesn't fit that opening scene.
Not at all.
I think that's the number one mistake of this movie is they put that "He Lives in You." That is the one that opens the movie, right? With the
I think so, yeah.
At the Pride Rock thing, and they basically show you the final scene again from the original film, and yeah, that song just doesn't fit because "Circle of Life" is Circle of Life. So like, one more positive I have to say, and then I'm gonna let Cody just go on a rant. Once again, Timon and Pumbaa in this movie are really friggin' good. I think, in my opinion, I think they're the best part of the movie. I like their interaction with Kiara is the name of Simba's daughter. I think that the interaction with them and her really, really good. I think they've got a lot of funny stuff in this movie specifically. So yeah.
It's also Nathan Lane, so he's like never made anything bad in my opinion. He elevates everything he's in. Like he never gives a bad performance for me. So like him showing up and coming back was like, okay, I have something to latch on to for this movie that I love.
You ever see Mousetrap? Okay.
All right, Cody, it's your turn. How do you feel about The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride?
So I don't like it.
When was the first time you saw it, by the way?
98, I would say.
When it came out on VHS?
Yeah, I would say. I think my mom brought it home and said, "Look what I found," and I was like, "Okay." And then I watched it and I was utterly disappointed. So there's a lot that goes into this movie that, like, the people that say it's good confuse me. Like, it's not good. Is it fine? Sure, I guess. As fine as a straight to VHS sequel can be. You won't ever see me like on a Disney rank Little Mermaid 2 or 3 on the list or stuff like that. So like when people say this is a good movie, it's just stupid to me. Like the animation is not the same. The animation is from the Australian TV studios that did this. That's why it is as dark as it possibly could be for a majority of the film. It's super dark. The cracked out lion really annoyed me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
There's already a cracked out character. His name's Timon because he does cocaine. But it's not like, and I understand they pass it off as fleas. They also do a really stupid thing like, that they do half the movie of like, this is Scar's son. Well, actually, it's not. It's his adopted son because that would be incest, and we're not talking about that in this movie. Then why make the movie? I think I don't know her name. I am terrible at trivia on this because it doesn't matter. But the female lioness, I think she's fine, but like she does these creepy monologues that really annoy me throughout it. He Lives in You is from the Broadway musical that they literally just threw in.
Oh, is that true?
That's true. Legit? It's legit. It's actually a part of it. It's not written for this movie. It was just X'd from the original.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yes. So the songs that are left are not great.
So the only good song in the movie is from the Broadway show.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That explains everything.
Well, you have to realize who wrote the music for Lion King 1 was Elton John, and there's no bigger diva in the world than Elton John. So Elton was like, I'm writing the music. This already exists. I'm not doing that. Like it was for the Broadway, so it's after the first Lion King, but he didn't write it. So then they threw this in there to make sense. I think both sequels have a song in there that is like, okay, this is fine. But, like, again, Timon and Pumbaa, the cast comes back, which is sad. But, like, the first budget was, like, $78 million. This wasn't even half. The back and forth. I'm with Koho on one thing. If they would have just stayed on Kovu and Kiara, whatever their name is, if they would have just stayed in that lane, that might have been, like, a better movie. But they go in, like, 7 different directions and never flesh out any storyline, which is a straight-to-DVD movie, so they don't have the time to, or VHS. Yeah. What else annoys me in this movie? There's a lot.
Well, while you're thinking about it, Nazario is in the comments, and he said that the movie's okay. It's mediocre and unnecessary, but that it's harmless. He Lives in You is a solid song. It is one of the best direct video sequels made by Disney, but that in and of itself is a yikes. So
Well,
I think
I think the only team that has ever done a really fine one, I think, is Aladdin, Prince of Thieves, Return
I
of the
like.
Shard, and Prince of Thieves, or
King
Yeah,
of Thieves.
those two were good. Yeah.
King of Thieves.
I think they're quality. They don't have Aladdin, but they still have that storyline, which is fairly fine. But like Simba's
Well, and the
two,
fact that Robin Williams comes back for the King of Thieves he wasn't in the second one, but
he was in
the
one
fact
of them,
that
yeah.
he was in the third one. Yeah.
I just don't think there's enough carry throughout this, and Simba as the main. There's a reason you don't get a lot of time with adult Simba, is because he's not the strongest. Because I've said with this upcoming reboot, whatever remake, I want the kid actors have to sell me on this movie, because I don't care about Donald Glover and Beyonce. I need the kids, because you spend more time with the kids than you ever do as the adults. You get the one song, you get the battle, and they're done. So like you have to sell me on the kids, and I think that's just the problem with this. You don't see the father. You never see the father-son or father-daughter like you do with father-son and Mufasa.
Sure.
And it's like, don't go here. Oh, but what is this? Oh, it's the Outsiders. And then this creepy freaking lion shows up. It's just bad. When people say it's good, it is the worst Lion King movie. The one after is better, but it ain't mean it good. It's just slightly better. So that's just I don't like when people consider, like, I hate that they call this a trilogy. Like, this drives me up the walls.
I'm calling this a trilogy, but that's just to piss you off.
It's not theatrically released.
That's true.
I have a fun little thing that I just found out because I was curious as to who wrote the music. The song "My Lullaby" was written by Joss Whedon for this movie.
What?
Joss Whedon wrote the song "My Lullaby" for this movie.
That creepy song, yeah.
Yeah, the creepiest song of the movie is just.
That's the one that she sings to Koho, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was asleep during that part.
And no one else, like none of the songs are written by the same person. All the songs are written by different people, which is what you could tell. Which is why I was like scrolling through, like there's Tom Snow, and then it's Joss Whedon, and then it's Kevin Quinn, and then it's Jack Feldman. And yeah, on and on and on, and it's so weird. I just saw that Joss Whedon wrote that one song. I'm like, that makes so much sense.
It's weird. Anyway, let's go on to the ultimate chapter in the untold story of the Lion King saga, the film that put all of the pieces that you wanted to know together, the film that changed America's hearts for the better. And that is, I believe, the 2004 released film, The Lion King 1.5, also known in other countries outside of America as The Lion King 3, Hakuna Matata. So that's a fun little tidbit if you didn't know that.
That would have sold a lot more.
I think this movie sold quite a bit, actually. I don't know. But anyway, getting onto it. Look at that, Nazario. Fun fact, The Lion King 1.5 was called The Lion King 3 Hakuna Matata. See, he's on top of it. He knows what he's talking about. But yeah, so let's talk about this movie. I will start and say that as a child, I love this movie. This movie was a godsend to the earth. Because what have I been saying this whole show, guys? Timon and Pumbaa are the shit. They're the bee's knees. They're the best thing about these movies to me. So what do? You get a whole movie of Timon and Pumbaa. Having watched it just a week ago, this movie's not good. This movie's bad. And the funny thing is like there are parts of it that still make me laugh. Like all the meerkats being like, dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel. And then they're like digging through the ground. Like that shit's fun. And I like
the hyenas come.
Yeah. Please sing that again to me, please. But I like all of the stuff with Timon and Pumbaa where they are like pretty much everything in the first maybe like 45 minutes of the movie, I'm on board. It's that last 30 minutes where I'm like, okay, this shtick is old. Pretty much everything from like Nala showing up on, like the Can You Feel the Love Tonight sequence on, I'm just kind of like, I don't care anymore. But I think that there's actually a lot of like comedy like you can mine here, and it was actually pretty good. But yeah, rewatching it, it's definitely not a great movie. Koho, you just watched it. Tell me what you think.
I did just rewatch it. It's the first time I've seen it since I was like 3. And my cousins swore it was a great movie. This feels like the leftovers, like outtakes of like what they did in the booth from The Lion King, and they stitched a plot together out of it. I don't care about anything in this movie until Pumbaa shows up, and then once Timon and Pumbaa are together, I like it until like, and then I just can't wait to be king sequence. It's like, okay, all right, cool. They're there. Apparently, I hate that. I hate that they were there the whole time. We just didn't see them. I think that is so dumb. And it rubs me the wrong way. But I can enjoy the movie for what it is until Nala shows up. And when Nala shows up and we get back into the story of The Lion King and we see other aspects of The Lion King movie that they didn't show us, that I didn't need to see, because now it feels kind of tainted that Uncle Max was at Pride Rock. I hate everything from when Nala shows up, and I hate everything before Pumbaa. This would have been a fun 30-minute short film of them raising Simba. I'd have been on board. I'd have been like, fine.
Sure.
It's cute. But other than that, it's like,
I do. The other thing I actually really do like too is all of the times that they cut away to them watching the movie in a movie theater. I think those sequences are very fun, especially the one at the end where all the classic Disney characters show up and jump in. I think that is all really, really fun. But honestly, is there any new music in this movie other than that, like dig a tunnel before the hyenas come? Like I can't.
Nothing outside Dig a Tunnel.
That's the only original song to this movie.
Yeah, and it's I don't like Dig a Tunnel at all.
I think it's hilarious just because I like.
I was sitting there and I'm like, are we serious? This is what we're doing? Okay, all right, fine. But
they're meerkats, man.
I got it.
They gotta dig the tunnels. So Cody ran away, but what do you think he thinks about this film? I feel like he probably.
He's back.
Hot garbage.
Oh, Cody, what do you have to say about the Lion King 1.5?
I like this movie better than 2, but that's because I like the Lion King, and it's about the Lion King story, so I don't have a problem. I never wondered what happened. Where were Timon and Pumbaa before the events of the Lion King? And this movie did not help me answer that. You have this weird. Dig a Tunnel is actually really catchy and really fun. I will stand by that one. And it might just because my wife sings it all the time. But the quick before the hyenas come is great. It's a great line. But the overall, it's boring. Like, I rewatched it, I wouldn't say recently. I would say probably in the last 7 years. But the stick, you're with it. I'm with you 100%. The stick gets really old. Like, it's just, okay, we're waiting. Oh, I get it. This is Can You Feel the Love Tonight's coming up and blah, blah, blah. And, like, once you're with the characters, it doesn't matter because the story's still there. If they would have went, like, a completely different where it's not what happened at the Vince Lion King, maybe just before they met and, like, it ends right when they meet up, that would be cool.
Or even, like Koho said, like, if you made, like, it didn't even have to be 30 minutes, but if you did like an hour or an hour 20 of just like this mini adventure that they had while raising Simba, that could have been cool. You could do something there, but to have it stretch this entire amount of time is a little. Oof.
It just proves that Nathan Lane will do anything for a paycheck, and that's okay. That's okay. Like
he's the best part of the movie.
Everybody needs money. He's the best part of like. Timon and Pumbaa, when everybody says favorite characters from it, Timon's probably my favorite because Pumbaa's just gas. He's got great ones.
Gas.
Big balls of gas exploding. He's fine, but like Timon is like the mob boss kind of thing. The little like quick-witted, just goes with the flow. Just
what's going on here?
They tried to eat me. It's just, it's great. But no, the Lion King 1.5 is bad. It's just, it didn't need to happen. It happened so late too. It was like
10
94.
years
It was 94, and then we came out 10 years later. How do we celebrate the 10th anniversary of The Lion King? Re-release it? No, that would make too much sense. Lion King 1.5. Brilliant! Put it on the script. Same people that brought you planes. Get out of my face. They're terrible. Like, stop.
There's one moment in this movie that I was like, is something worthwhile hidden in this movie? And it's the sequence where like Simba keeps coming back to him and he's just like he's like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. They walk across the log. Oh, I gotta go. Let's walk across the log. We're gonna be walking across this log for a long time, aren't we, kid? And you see the connections forming, and then he comes back and he's like, he's like Timon, and he's like, let me guess, you gotta walk back across the log, and he's like, no, I had a bad dream, and then you see like them like take him in and like actually parent him, and I'm like, that's really sweet. I really enjoyed that moment.
That's a good sequence. Half the reviews on Letterboxd for this movie are like Timon and Pumbaa are the best homosexual couple in all of Disney. Like, just talking about how they're the best gay dads ever, which is fantastic. It's because it's absolutely true. All right, so Nazario is also saying he thinks the concept is kind of stupid, especially that they were in all the important moments of The Lion King. So like you said, Caleb, but the execution is on and it made me smile a few times. More watchable than Simba's Pride, but not necessarily good. But he would watch it again before he would watch Simba's Pride, which I would tend to agree, mostly because more Timon and Pumbaa. So, anything else we got to say about The Lion King 1.5, guys? Everyone's like, I don't want to watch this movie ever again. But so those are our thoughts on The Lion King, Lion King 2, Lion King 1.5. Let's take this last segment here to talk about the new film, the 2019 film. It's coming out on Friday. I'm seeing it tomorrow night. I hope I can say good things to you guys, but are we excited for this movie?
I don't know if Cody can talk first. It's his favorite movie. I'd rather hear what he has to say first.
So I have been the biggest naysayer in the entire world in this movie. This is not live action. This is live action animation. It's a new branch, but I'm okay with them doing the branches of it. Like, it's just, we can't call it what it is. There's no real lions. There's no real baboons. This is CGI. There's no human element in this entire movie besides the plains of Africa that they probably recorded some stuff in. But like, I don't care who the voice casting is. I don't care about any of this. I just don't understand. Because you get two camps, right? You get the camps that want to remake it and tell a different story or tell a different angle. And then you got the true of hearts that want you to remake it. If you want to remake it, fine, but tell me the same story. Because we just want to see those live action, right? I'm this type that tell me the story because I think the story is perfect. I don't need more added to it. Like if I learn Zazu's backstory in this, I'm going to be pissed. I don't want to know what happened to Zazu before he met with Mufasa. I just want him to be Mufasa's advisor. The soundtrack dropped for this movie, and I have listened to it.
I've listened to bits of it, but did you enjoy it?
There is one song that I think is incredible, and I think it is actually better than the original. Oh, the rest fall way short for me. Okay. I think the biggest thing that this movie is going to hinge on, and I think it's the part that I'm going to walk out unsatisfied, and that is going to be Timon and Pumbaa. Because of listening to Hakuna Matata, I'm missing the magic of Nathan Lane. Okay. I think it's fine, but I don't think it's Nathan Lane in his, like, they change a part of the song of Hakuna Matata, which I think is just stupid. Like,
which part?
So it's the part with he's like, I clear a savannah after every meal in his sensitive soul, and then he goes right before he's supposed to, whoa, not in front of the kid, and he's like, thought of changing my name, and the kid goes, what are you going to change your name to, Brad? And then the next part is like, every time that are you going to stop me? Because he like says fart and like draws it out. He goes, no, because you're a disgusting animal. Like, what? Like
Yeah,
the
okay.
brilliance of the Hakuna Matata was like he was about to say fart, which is not a bad word, but like he covers it up just like not in front of the kid. Like it was funny, and now to like Brad, we're in freaking Africa. Like, what would
Yeah.
his name be? Brad. His name's Simba to begin. It was just weird.
Well, and there was, and it's funny that you brought that up because wait, so Pumbaa's the one who wants to name him Brad? Is that what you said?
No, Timon. So he started. I thought I changed my. Oh yeah, well, no, yeah,
Oh.
that's what the thing. That's the thing. Like he says the line, and he's like, "What do you think about changing my name?" And then one of the characters, again, I haven't seen the movie yet,
Timon.
but he said Timon. He says, "What are you going to change your name to, Brad?"
Yeah, because they released a scene from the movie. It's only about 50 seconds long. I actually enjoyed the scene, but it's where Timon and Pumbaa find Simba laying there after the crows.
Which is a crucial scene.
And you see, and it might not be the entire scene, but what we saw that was released was they run out, they scare the crows away, and then Pumbaa's like, "Oh my God, it's a little lion," and Timon's like, "It's not a lion," and is crawling all over him and opens up his mouth and sees the teeth, and then he's like, "Ah, it's a lion," and then they do the whole. Can we keep them? Can we not keep? Can we? And at the end of the scene, so I loved the scene the whole time, and then at the end when Timon says, "Yes, we can keep him," or whatever, Pumbaa like jumps up and down and says, "Yay, we're gonna name him Fred," and then it ends, and I was like, "Huh, we're gonna name him Fred." But Seth Rogen, the delivery of the line like made me laugh, but then after thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, they're in Africa. Like, what are we doing here?
I think the main problem was I think Seth Rogen, you can tell in the soundtrack, is not a singer by any means. I think the voice acting will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think the song is where you're going to fall incredibly short, and I think a lot of people are talking, kind of like Aladdin did in One Jump that you pointed out to me. It's like one jump, like it's a dot.
One jump ahead of the front man.
It's
one
jump. It's a bunch of half notes.
So it's very weird.
He's not singing. Yeah, he's just.
It's very weird. But I will say I have been the biggest naysayer on Scar. I've been the biggest naysayer on Scar.
When that first trailer came out, I remember you were not pleased.
Because my only viewpoint is everybody associates The Lion King to James Earl Jones. And
they should have related it to.
But the person that's in it the most is Jeremy Irons. And if you're bringing somebody back, why can't you bring him back? But then I listened to, I might have butchered it.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Thank you. And his Be Prepared, the middle is terrifying and brilliant.
Oh, good. I haven't heard it, so I don't know.
Okay. The beginning and end is trash. It ends too short. They don't give it the beauty that it needs to.
They don't do the full song, is what I
They don't do the full song. So it doesn't build.
At the end. He doesn't sing before it. He just sings at the end.
It doesn't build, so then it's just like.
Could it be different in the movie?
I hope. But like, Can You Feel the Love Tonight is a beautiful song, but I expect that to be a beautiful song with those two singing it. I just feel like this movie is going to miss on certain levels because them doing too much instead of too little. The movie's runtime is an hour
58 is the new one.
And that's where are you going? Like, what are we going to do for almost 2 hours? That scares me. That scares me.
Funny enough, the Macaw and I listened to Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And that's the only song I've heard in its entirety. I heard a little bit of Hakuna Matata. I don't like Beyonce's Beyonce-isms in the song. I think that when her and Donald Glover are just singing, it's good. But when she does all the and like all those twirls on the notes, it's like, you don't show off. We know you're Beyonce. Like, you're amazing, but just like sing the song. Like, that was my only takeaway from that. Maggie wasn't too impressed with it. What I have heard from everything that I've seen on the interwebs is that Timon and Pumbaa actually steal the show. They're the best part of the movie. I've heard that it looks incredible, that Chiwetel is actually really, really good. The one negative that I have heard in every review I've read and seen is that Donald Glover is just okay. And that he's not that great as Simba.
But that's fair. Like, people, well, I can't say this for fact because they've added, 40 minutes to this movie?
Like about 30 if you take away the credit times. Yeah.
Okay, like 30 minutes that you have to add. And Matthew Broderick didn't steal the show as Simba. Matthew Broderick was just Simba. Like, he's the adult Simba, and the battle is him returning to Pride Rock and taking on. So Donald Glover shouldn't steal the show. Neither should Beyonce. The thing is, what I said in my original, Can You Feel the Love? No, I Just Can't Wait to Be King is better than the original. That song is incredible. I have played that song over than the original because I think the boy that is playing Simba is insane.
So good.
This kid's singing voice is like, it adds a little bit more soul to it, I will say. Like, he does a little bit more runs than Simba would, but I don't expect that from Jonathan Taylor Thomas. But when he does them, and like, even I was not even a huge fan of the Oliver. Is it
John Oliver?
John Oliver as Zazu, but in this song, on board.
Oh, well, that's good. Have you heard the whole soundtrack, Koho?
Me and Cody listened to it at the same time. We were having with Kate a little bit of a listen party. And me and Kate were basically sitting back just watching Cody's reactions. But I'm with him. I Just Can't Wait to Be King is better in the new one than it is in the original because of JD McCrary, I think is his name. He is incredible. I think, like Cody said, Jonathan Taylor Thomas who when we were listening to it. But I really dig Be Prepared, like the new one. I get that it's different. I think the old one's better. The old one is very much better. It's Jeremy Irons doing his thing. Jeremy Irons should have come back. But Chiwetel Ejiofor's twist on it is menacing, and I think it's good for what he's doing because Chiwetel's not a singer, so he kind of has to speak the song. Which is why I think when he's like so prepared,
then hire a singer. That's my thing. Is like I love Chiwetel Ejiofor. The thing that I read it in an interview somewhere with Favreau where he said that they cast all African American people as the lions. That's why Jeremy Irons isn't back as Scar.
Yeah.
They also,
that's 100% why.
And they also cut Be Prepared, and the reason why they put it back in is because everyone wanted it, but they cut it because Chiwetel wasn't a singer. That was the reason.
Is that? Do we know that for sure? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, the reason why they cut it was because they wanted Chiwetel, and Chiwetel couldn't sing, and they didn't want to like ruin the song. I think by having him sing it, and people were like, "No, put it back. You're putting it back." And so they put it back, and he did his thing with it. And I think what he did with it is fine. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's fine.
Well, and again, and it's all in context of the movie too. Like we can listen to the songs all we want. If I'm being completely honest, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite animated movie. But if I had just heard Emma Watson singing Belle on the soundtrack before I saw the movie, I still don't think it's better than the original by any means. But it's definitely enhanced with the visual. So we'll have to wait to see the movie.
My last thoughts that I have of the soundtrack portion, I think Donald Glover is my favorite part of this movie so far. Soundtrack, at least from a soundtrack perspective. The moment he shows up,
he sings in one song.
Season 2. He shows up as soon as he shows up on the soundtrack. It's awesome. I think he's got a really great voice, and I'm excited for him to be Simba because I already like him in the 2 songs that he sings on this soundtrack than I liked Matthew Broderick. So I'm excited for what he does.
Yeah. Okay, well, we will definitely see in theaters this weekend. When are you guys watching it?
Thursday.
I'm hoping Thursday or late Friday. One of the two.
All right.
So,
well, you guys can definitely look for the 3 of us reviewing this movie this weekend at some point in a spoiler-ish setting where we go full in on all of the new stuff they added. You can head over to @TimLovesMovies. That is my YouTube channel where you can see a non-spoiler quick review of my thoughts. You can see that starting Thursday. Thursday morning I'll have that posted, so be on the lookout for that. But like I said, hopefully sometime later in the weekend after we've all had a chance to see it, either once or a couple of times, depending on how we feel about it, we can definitely go fuller in and talk about it. But anyway, that's the show. This is fun, talking about The Lion King. Kaleb, where can people find you?
I live here. You're in my home of Multiplex Entertainment. I do everything here. If that you want to see me do, I do it here. Otherwise, if you want to see some stupid movies I made, they're over on Kaleb Koho and Koho Productions on YouTube. And if you want to hear some covers of songs or original songs that I made when I was younger, Kaleb Koho on YouTube, and The Forks on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you consume your digital music with the album Shoot for Teens. So
hot. And Cody, what about you?
Pretty much over the trivia communities. You can find me on Full Metal and Take 3, but I mainly reside on Multiplex now. Your List Sucks every Wednesday. Got a good one dropping this week of Disney songs. It was pre-recorded, but it's got Brooklyn, Cain, and Kaleb Koho. So check that one out. And then the following week, I've got Worst Summer Blockbuster Movies, and I've got a great panel with there. I've got Kirk Wazakowski. You think that's a Kazakh? Whatever, how you pronounce his name. Jeremy Adams, and this is really bad. I forgot the other person, but Nick Carley. You'll have those three. I know you have some interesting lists, so join us on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and next week you can come right back here to see the final or the next episode of that too. But you can see the next episode of Multiplex Loves Movies. We're going to be talking about Tarantino movies, not all of his movies, but we've selected a couple to talk about. And that panel is going to be me, Jim Green, Caleb Boatman, and Sean Sandberg. Yes, those are the three people that will be on the show with me. So that will be a little hectic, but it will be fun nonetheless for episode number 2. We're only going to talk about 2 movies, so it won't be that bad. So thanks always for watching, guys. Again, head over to Tim Loves Movies for that Lion King review this weekend. Be on the lookout for that. And thanks as always for watching, guys. Until next time, have a good one.